Hello viewers, I welcome you in today's lecture. I am Professor Arun Kumar Shandil, Department of Applied Geology, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar. Now in today's lecture, I am going to introduce you with the recognition of the fault, how you are going to recognize the faults in the field. Now there are the two different type of the criterias, one for the recognition of the fault in the geological maps, and another one is in the recognition of fault in the field. Now first one, the recognition of fault in the map, geological map. In the different geological map, if the faults are there, then it will show the dislocation of the strata, dislocation of the outcrop of the different structure which is present in the geological map. So this dislocation, wherever there is a dislocation is there, we will mark the fault line. Fault may be vertical, fault may be inclined. So if the fault is inclined, we can easily measure its dip and strike. If the fault line is straight, then we consider it is a vertical fault. So there are two different type of the faults we can easily recognize in the geological map: vertical faults and the inclined faults on the geological map. Inclined fault means, if as we are determining the dip and strike of the geological strata, means wherever the contours are intersecting the fault plane, at two contours of the different value they are intersecting the fault plane, we will draw the strike line and then we will measure the horizontal distance versus the vertical distance, and we will measure the amount of dip of the fault plane. This way we can easily recognize the fault in the geological map. Now coming to recognition of fault in the field. In the recognition of fault in the field, we will have to see in the regional scale structures like the discontinuity of the structures, we have to see the repetition and omission of the strata, we have to see the features of the fault plane and the silicifications and mineralizations along the fault plane, and there is a sudden change in the sedimentary facies. Now these are the 5 different criteria on the basis of which we can recognize the fault in the field. Now the first one is discontinuity of the structure. Discontinuity of the structure, if this structure is continuing like this, if there is a dislocation takes place like this, then we will call there is a dislocation point. The distance between these two will be measured as a throw of the fault, and this dislocation we can mark it as a fault in the field. Now second one is the repetition and omission of strata. In my previous lecture I told you repetition and omission of structures occur in the rocks of the vertical rocks as well as the inclined rocks when they are dislocated along the fault plane. So the hanging wall has removed completely by the process of weathering and erosion, and on the down throw side and up throw side we are getting the same beds as repeated. Say the repetition is like A, B, C, D, again A, B, C, D repetition is there, then we will call it the older bed which is coming in contact with the younger bed. We will call it as a up throw side, and younger bed side will be considered as a down throw side. So this way we are going to recognize the fault. Now the repetition and omission means when there are the horizontal beds are there, and the horizontal beds are there, if the faulting has taken place, either the vertical fault or the inclined fault, the up throw side has been eroded away by the process of weathering and erosion. So the older bed coming in contact with the younger bed of the down throw side, and we will put a line between the older bed and the younger bed, that line will be demarcated as the fault plane. So this process is called omission. So the omission and repetition is very characteristic feature for the faulted block. The up throw side which has been removed, and the down throw side it is being repeating the faces, or it has been removing the faces. Now the third one is the features of fault plane. The features of fault plane along the fault plane. The fault plane, when fault plane is developed and the siliceous material has intruded along the weak zone, we call it is a secondary opening or secondary porosity in the rock, the fault plane along which the siliceous material is injected, and this is acting as a gliding material. The siliceous liquid is acting as a gliding material, so it slided down, and when it slided down on the up throw side, here we are getting the lines are linear minerals are developed of the mineral quartz. Those linear property of the develop on a up throw side will be called as the siliconsite. So, siliconsite is a very important structure for recognition of the fault. This upthrosite, if you are getting here the linings, these linings will be helpful in recognition that this is always developed in upthrosite. The next block must have gone down. So, we can call it upthrosite. Movement is and the upthrosite we are getting the siliconsite. So, if the terrain which is highly deformed, so on the basis of the presence of siliconsite we can recognize the movement of the fault directions. Now, there is another one where there the rock used to break it along the fault plane. The rock pieces are say 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 4 centimeter size rocks have been broken into different pieces, that is called the formation of the breccia. So, the siliconsite is the one criteria, another one is the breccia. Breccia, it is a 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 10 centimeter size of the rock block has broken into small pieces, that is called as breccia, or this process is called as brecciation. So, presence of this along the fault plane we can put the line between upthrosite and downthrosite wherever we are getting the brecciations in the rock. Then the next one is the grooving. Grooving is a feature when along the fault plane, if the fault blocks are entrapped between the fault plane. The fault blocks are trapped in between the fault plane, and it will coming on this line, so they will mark the lining or the grooving on the upthrosite. So, these are called the grooving. So, grooving also helps in the recognition of the fault and determination of the movement of directions. Then coming to the gauge, where there is a powder type of the material is developed because of the crushing in the rock. Before breaking of the fault plane, upthrosite and downthrosite, the rock got fractured and powdered, that is called as the presence of gauge. It is a gauge material. This also indicates the presence of fault. Then there is another features, difference between the gauge and brecciation. Brecciation, you are getting grain size is more than 1 centimeter size, and the gauge material you are getting less than 1 centimeter size of the brecciation of breaking of the rock. Then another one is the myelonite. Myelonite is a grain size wise, it is very fine, which is less than 10 millimeter to 1 millimeter size, is called myelonite, right. So, the grain size is very powdered one. We can compare with say in simple word we can call the gauge. If you are getting 1 centimeter size, here you are getting less than 1 centimeter size, the material is called myelonite. Myelonite is a powder type of the material. Fractionation of angular pieces are there. Angular pieces means rock which has been broken into angular pieces is called the myelonite. And ultramyelonite. Ultramyelonite is in micron. The grain size is in micron. It's like just like a powder material. So, in the from the kitchen we can easily understand it. If you are getting the grain size like your Kabuli chana, you have it is a coarse grain material, or you are getting aloo size material, we will call it is the brecciated material. Size wise I am saying you. And then if you are getting gauze material is a like your dalia material, it is little bit coarser than the plain flour, wheat flour, and the atta is your the myelonite, and your maida and your talcum powder which you are using in your decorating yourself, that material is of your ultramyelonite side, because it is very fine grained material. So, these are the important features of the fault plane characteristics. Then coming to the next one is the physiographic criteria for recognition of the fault. Physiographic criteria means in the landforms, different type of the landforms, hilltop, hill slope, and the plain areas, how you are going to recognize the fault. For that we have to see, number one is the offset ridges. Offset ridges, as I told you in the earlier, discontinuity of the structure means the ridges have been, the hillocks have been dislocated, like these are dislocated in different direction depending upon the movement direction and the stress condition available in that particular rock. So, that is called the offset ridges. Then second one is your geological Piedmont scarp. Piedmont scarp in the fault plane, you get a very steep slope. You get a very steep slope of the ground which is called the fault plane, or it is called the Piedmont scarp. All of a sudden whole area is having the undulating or say the gentle slope, and suddenly you are getting the steep slope like 90 degree, 85 degree or 80 degree slope, then this slope will be called as Piedmont slope, or it is also called as fault scarp. Now, in the Sagar area, in the Vindhyan rocks, we are getting number of places this type of the steep escarpment or the Piedmont surfaces are developed in the Vindhyan rocks. Then coming to the triangular facets. The triangular facet is another characteristic feature. When the river is coming from the hilly areas, it is carrying the different type of the coarse grained material, fine grained material, very fine grained material, and minerals in solution form. So, all this material when the river is carrying in the typical V-shaped valley, right. So, there is a vertical erosion takes place, it is more sediment is there and river velocity is more. So, river can carry more quantity or more amount of sediment along with, but when the river is coming to meet the ground area, then what will happen? The water here in the hilly area, river was flowing in the V-shaped valley. When this river is touching to the ground horizontal surface or the ground down the slope area, what will happen? The water will be spread over in the wider area and the capacity of the river will be reduced, and because the capacity of the river water is reduced, so whatever the sediment it was carrying with it, it will be deposited. It will deposit in triangular facets. It will be deposited in the triangular facets at the point. Say the example, you have very good places like the Dehradun, Hardwar, Kathgodam, and if you go to the Himachal area, Solan area, you are getting this type of the features are commonly seen in the because the Himalayan river coming from the Himalaya, and when they are coming down to the plain ground or plain area, they are depositing this type of the triangular facets. Then coming to next important feature is whether the rocks are horizontal or inclined or the folded rocks. If they are containing groundwater and the water table is there in the strata and the upthrosite, when the upthrosite which has gone up, and here if the water table is there, the water will start falling down, it will form the spring. So, in the upthrosite we are going to see, we are going to get the springs, right, or if you are getting continuous chain of the 500 meter, 200 meter or say thousands of meter long area where the water is falling down. So, we call it is the spring line. So, spring line is also a very important criteria for recognition of the fault. Generally, whether the rocks are horizontal or inclined, the water is within the ground, and when the block has moved upward because of the faulting. So, water is falling down and it is forming the spring, and we call it the spring as well as the spring line. After the spring and spring line, we have the another important characteristic features for recognition of the fault. When we draw the profile of the river, and if there is a sudden change in the profile, normally if the river profile is like this only, and if the river is starting from here and there is a dislocation in the river profile, so this will indicate the presence of fault. It is called as the break in stream profile. This we will, when we will draw the longitudinal sections of the river, then we will see, we will be able to recognize this type of the dislocation along the river bed. It is called the break in the stream profile. And the last characteristic feature for the recognition of the fault, if you have the topo sheets, if you have the aerial photographs or the Landsat imageries on the regional scale, one can easily recognize, because we have to mark the different lineaments on the aerial photographs or in the topo sheets, parallel to stream, parallel to the escarpment, parallel to the fault line. So, this help us in the recognition of the fault. The lineament plays very important role in the recognition of the fault. This criteria is only used on the regional scale. If you have to do the study of the 500 kilometer, 1000 kilometer area, then you can easily mark the different type of the lineaments can be easily marked. Now, in the central India, we are having the Narmada zone lineament. It is a continuing from Madagascar to goes up to Shillong. So, there is a continuous lineament is there. If you see on the aerial photograph, you see in the topo sheet, a large scale topo sheet, then you can easily recognize this lineament can easily be observed on the aerial photographs and topo sheet. So, this is a regional feature. Say the Narmada zone lineament is a type of rift valley, or it is a graben structure, rift valley, or it is a graben structure, in which there is a common down throw side is there, and the up throw side they have gone up, and this is down throw side has gone down. So, in which rift valley has been formed, or the graben has been formed all along the Narmada zone lineament. Now, see, I told you the various type of the criteria for recognition of the fault in the field. I had given you a example of the Narmada zone lineament in central India. If you go to the Himalayas, in the Himalayan region, all the rivers they are originating from the high Himalayan peaks. Gangotri, Yamunotri, Alaknanda river, Pindar river, and 5 rivers of the Punjab, all are originating and they are forming a radial dendritic pattern in the Himalaya, and these rivers, they are following the maximum faults, right, and their tributaries, minor tributaries are following the second generation of the fault. So, the first generation fault, second generation fault, even the third generation fault, and the last generation of the fault in the Himalaya, it is trending the north-south direction. It is trending the north-south direction. So, all the river, maximum river, they are having trend, flowing trend, whether they are originating in the east direction or in the west direction in the Himalaya, but they are following the north-south trend. What we call it is the transverse fault direction. Transverse fault direction, because the strike is like this, the strike of the rocks are like this and they are cutting across. So, it is transverse fault and in the Himalayan regions. All river, Alaknanda river, Bhagirathi river, Belangana river, Pindar, Nandakini, Mandakini, Vishnu Ganga river, all the variety of the rivers, they are following especially the trends of the various fault plane in the Himalayan regions. So, even if you go to some area, Brahmaputra river is also following the trend of the fault, because the Brahmaputra river, north of Badrinath and Kedarnath area, we are having Indus future zone is there. Indus future zone, it is a number of minor faults are there. So, it is a tens of kilometer wide zone is there. So, we will call it as Indus future zone. The Brahmaputra river, which is running parallel to the Indus future zones, and it is entering in India from the Arunachal Pradesh, and Arunachal Pradesh and up to Guwahati, there is another fault plane is there. The river has followed that particular fault plane in the Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. So, if we come down to the South India, we are having number of the fault plains and rift valleys are there. Say Rift Valley, another Rift Valley, I had given the example of Narmada Son lineament, and before after this Narmada formation of Narmada Son lineament, we are having number of Rift Valley has been formed. We have formed, we got the Satpura Rift Valley, we got the Mahanadi Rift Valley, we got the Godavari Rift Valley, we got the Damodar Rift Valleys. These are the different Rift Valleys are there. If you go to the dam site in the Maharashtra, there also we are getting the rift valleys. So, rift valley means it is a formation of the two parallel faults. Rift valley means, rift valley are the graben structure or the horst structure. We are getting the two parallel faults are there, depending upon what they are. If they are, there is a common down throw side and the two up throw side is like this, common down throw side is like this. So, you will call it is a graben structure, and if the common up throw side is there, so this hanging wall has moved, footwall has moved upward, and this is forming a ridge type of the topography. It is controlled by two parallel faults. If you go to the Alps area, Alps mein you are getting the number of fault planes are there. If you go to the Rockies and Andes in America, where you are getting the number of set of the faults are developed in the Rockies and Andes mountain. In the Alps mountain and the recently Himalayas also we are getting number of fault planes are 3 to 4 generations of different fault planes can be easily seen with the typical characteristic features what I told you, the criteria for recognition of fault. Dear friends, in my today's lectures I had given the criteria for recognition of the fault in the geological map as well as in the field, and with the different examples of the Himalayan region, Alps regions, Rockies and Andes, as well as the Narmada Son lineament and the peninsular India, various faults are there. Hope whenever you get a chance to visit these or the area which I have quoted in my lecture, you will see you can easily recognize the fault in the field. Okay, good luck dear. Thank you very much.